I'm a full-time housewife with a monthly allowance of 50,000, and I frequently travel abroad. My best friend was so consumed by jealousy that she seduced my husband and became the other woman. She quit her job in high spirits, ready to live the same leisurely and comfortable life as mine. Little did she know this would mark the beginning of a nightmare. 01 May I ask what your profession is? While shopping, my best friend Olivia and I were stopped by a reporter for an interview. Olivia couldn't wait to answer for me. Full-time housewife, I took off my sunglasses and nodded in agreement. What exactly do you do for work? Through my sun protective face mask, I answered softly, dancing cosmetic procedures traveling abroad. The reporter froze. Then may I ask, what is your monthly salary? Olivia snapped irritably, are you deaf? She is a housewife. What do you mean salary? The reporter rephrased the question, how much can you spend each month? As much as I want, of course. I twirled my hair with my fingers, but generally it takes over 50,000 just to cover basic expenses. For a moment, every working class person in the room clenched their fists. The reporter took a deep breath and pressed on relentlessly. Then may I ask, what is the biggest setback you've ever faced in your life? I tilted my head back to gaze at the sky, pondering for a full 3 minutes. The journalist broke down, there must be something that bothers you. I blew on my freshly done manicure. Well, there is, like not picking up dance moves very quickly or forgetting the steps and such. The reporter grew increasingly aggressive, digging relentlessly into my family circumstances. Local resident, only child, 2 properties in the inner city, kids looked after by grandparents, household chores handled by a maid. My sole responsibility is enjoying life. Listening to her tone gradually weaken, I asked one final question. How old are you this year? With my mask on, only my eyes were visible, clear bright without any redness, not even a single wrinkle. I blinked at her with a smile. I'm over 40 now. At that moment, everyone except me was shattered. 02 I thought after this interview was released, people would criticize me, dig into my past, and give myself media a boost in traffic. But unexpectedly, the comments were filled with nothing but envy, with no one even questioning whether I was truly 40 years old. Olivia came to my place for afternoon tea and kept sighing beside me. Stephen, you really hit the jackpot with your birth. I absent-mindedly acknowledged her while continuing to scroll through my account homepage. My latest travel vlog abroad only had 100,000 views with fewer than 20,000 likes. Olivia leaned in closer. Stephen, you still care about analytics? I pressed the lock button and turned back with a smile. Not at all. I was just looking at how those passersby were being sour grapes about me. Adds a little fun to life. She let out an "oh," then stuffed 2 cannelis into her mouth and praised. Your French pastries are really amazing. The cannelle molds must be expensive, right? I smiled at her and complimented her on her good taste. Then I took a sip of black tea, pretending not to see the image search page on her phone. She was my fan. We met because we lived in the same city and eventually became besties. At least that's what Olivia unilaterally decided. She leaned in, resting her chin on my shoulder. Stephen, why are you so good to me? Being your fan is truly blissful. I looked down at her hand, patted it with a smile, and remained silent. Olivia grew quiet for a moment before suddenly speaking with shy hesitation. Stephen, you're so outstanding. Your family must adore you. I came here from out of town to make a living, and I don't have many friends. I was wondering if you'd be willing to introduce me to your family. I suppressed my smile and stared into her eyes. Olivia flinched and shrank back slightly. But she didn't expect me to say sure. 03 I immediately booked a restaurant to introduce her to my husband Dominic. Throughout the meal, I couldn't stop boasting about how exceptional Dominic was. A RD position at a major tech company, high salary with excellent benefits, outstanding character, and handsome looks. Dominic gave me an adoring smile. Olivia's smile was barely holding together. She had previously hinted, asking if my husband was old or unattractive looking. Little did she know Dominic was tall, long-legged, handsome, wealthy, and utterly devoted to his wife. Even worse for her, he looked incredibly young. I heard her mutter to herself. How come all the good things happened to her? Why her? Then she didn't even bother to hide her intentions right in front of me. She asked to add Dominic on WeChat. Dominic agreed, without hesitation. When scanning the code, Olivia gave me a provocative smile. What she didn't see was Dominic and me exchanging a glance before quickly looking away. That night I used the excuse of needing to catch a flight abroad to leave the 2 of them alone. I knew exactly what was about to happen. Olivia was quite attractive and Dominic was somewhat satisfied. In the following days, they would likely be interacting frequently. Besides winning over Dominic, Olivia had also taken advantage of my absence to ingratiate herself with my daughter and mother-in-law. She went out of her way to get close to them, probing for their preferences. Her daughter attends a prestigious high school and loves imported stylish binders, highlighters, and all kinds of limited edition stationery collaborations. Her mother-in-law, retired from a government institution, has a penchant for expensive health supplements, gold jewelry, and jade bracelets. Olivia served them diligently, spending a small fortune on gifts to please them. Dominic was very satisfied with her, letting her wear my silk pajamas and taking her to our marital bed until she glistened with sweat. Olivia thought she had won. To better serve the family, she quit her job without even claiming the N1 severance pay. Yet the day before I returned, my daughter frowned at Olivia as she tried to tie on an apron to cook, saying, Annie, why haven't tea left yet? 04 My family threw me a welcome home party the day I returned. My daughter flew into my arms like a little bird. Mommy, how was your trip to the Maldives? Did you bring me any souvenirs? I hugged her and planted a kiss before turning to retrieve several exquisitely wrapped gift bags. My husband, mother-in-law, and daughter each got one. I even gave a portion to Olivia, waiting outside. She stood by the door holding a pocket camera, helping me film my vlog. The three inside acted as if they didn't know her, not even sparing her a glance. For a moment, I could almost hear her grinding her teeth. After the party, I treated Olivia to Japanese food, as thanks for helping with the shoot. Once the waiter who grilled our meat left, she gulped down several mouthfuls of plum wine and said bitterly, "You know Dominic and I slept together, right? You did this on purpose, you did this on purpose." Her eyes were red-rimmed as she screamed hoarsely, "You're so sure they'd never betray you. Your whole family has been laughing at me haven to you." Seeing her like this, I almost felt sorry for her. Taking a sip of tea, I gave her a hint. "Olivia, you've worked for so long and interacted with plenty of employees from major companies. Our D personnel like Dominic do earn high salaries, but what about their workload, their physical condition? Usually isn't that great, is it?" The subtext in my words was practically screaming, "Don't you think Dominic's outward appearance contradicts the nature of his work?" Olivia stared at me, her face flushed with drunkenness, her gaze unfocused. She mumbled, "Dominic's in great shape, not a trace of kidney deficiency. Way better than my ex." Then she slumped onto the table and whispered, it must be, because you're a local. Your family is wealthy, you've been well maintained." I sighed and called the waiter to settle the bill. It seems she won't be waking up anytime soon. 05 After losing her job, Olivia didn't look for another one. Instead, she spent a fortune renting an apartment in my upscale neighborhood. She obsessively copied every designer item that appeared in my videos, replicating luxury cosmetics and handbags piece by piece, desperately trying to break into the local circle of wealthy housewives. With her decent looks decked out in designer labels, she could certainly put on a convincing act. At first, some people did strike up conversations with her, but once they realized she was just a pretty face who couldn't offer them any real help, they all kept their distance. Such people had no social value. Olivia grew increasingly anxious until one day she couldn't take it anymore and drank herself into a stupor. She wandered the neighborhood like a lonely ghost until the security guards spotted her. Just as they were about to remove her from the neighborhood as a suspicious person, I stepped in and stopped the security guard. Olivia, now mostly sober, glanced up at me. "It's you." I crouched down and placed her on the stone bench beside the lawn. "How's your social life been lately?" She gave me a sidelong glance and snorted coldly. "It's not working. All those tricks I used on you are completely ineffective with wealthy housewives." I pretended to listen attentively. "Really?" Olivia struggled to sit up straight, leaning against the pavilion pillar as she counted off on her fingers. "Mrs. Lee, who lives in the Western-style house, assets worth billions, still asks every day where new business opportunities are, trying to get clients for her husband. Mrs. Who from the Villa District, every time she opens her mouth, it's about her kids' studies, Cambridge summer programs, Ivy League offers." She waved her hand and let out a tipsy burp. I couldn't understand a word, couldn't help at all, and got kicked out in no time. I drew out a long "oh." "Why didn't you tell me all this before?" Olivia's eyes reddened. "You made me think rich housewives had it easy. Every day I quit my job without being prepared at all." I tapped her nose lightly with my finger. "It's not that I don't want to tell you, it's that I really don't have to do any of these things." Olivia's eyes widened as she remembered my online persona. Yes. You don't take care of the kids, nor do you care about your husband's work. All you do is eat, drink, and be merry." Suddenly, she sobered up completely, as if she wanted to lunge at me and strangle me. "So why do people who are richer and higher status than you have to keep giving while you can just enjoy yourself without a care in the world?" I laughed. "Yes, why indeed? Why should Dominic work hard to earn money, while I get to lie around at home doing nothing and enjoying life? Why should my parents struggle their whole lives to buy a house only to watch me be idle and squander their wealth? Why should others plan and scheme for their sons and daughters while I travel abroad every day, completely indifferent to my own daughter?" I leaned in close and whispered in her ear, "Don't you see the contradiction?" Olivia screamed hysterically. "Because you're lucky you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth and hit the jackpot." I stood up and shook my head wearily. "Absolutely hopeless. Use your brain and think." Even someone like Qin Shi Huang, who stood at the pinnacle of human existence, still harbored the desire for eternal life. How could an ordinary person like me with just a bit of stinking money possibly live in complete comfort and ease with every desire fulfilled and not a single setback in life? Olivia's pupils trembled as she looked up at me. Under the streetlight, I stretched out a wide grin. "How foolish. If you're willing to believe my internet persona, you might as well believe I'm actually Qin Shi Huang." 06 Olivia disappeared for 2 days, then stormed back into my house with a vengeance. The moment I opened the door, she pointed at my daughter's nose and started yelling, "You're not even a student at a top high school, making me buy you all those expensive stationery supplies. Turns out you're just a study notes blogger on Xiaohongshu." The daughter crossed her arms and smirked indifferently. "And you?" She suddenly turned her fury towards her mother-in-law, glaring fiercely. "So all those gold jewelry and jade bracelets I bought you were just props for your Taobao ads selling middle-aged women as clothing?" My mother-in-law rotated her wrist. "Yes and no, I genuinely like these things. I wear them even without shooting commercials." Finally, she turned to Dominic and me. The fact that Dominic was still at home on a weekday nearing noon spoke volumes. Yet lacking concrete evidence, Olivia turned teary-eyed toward Dominic with one last glimmer of hope. "You're real, aren't you?" Dominic grinned, flashing a row of white teeth as he pulled up his personal homepage. Olivia's vision darkened. The man she'd recently assumed was a tech lead at a major company now appeared on screen with his shirt wide open, twisting his body with a come-hither gaze that oozed seduction. It's the kind of thing that would give you cyber STDs just from looking. I delivered the final blow. He is a borderline NSFW influencer on Douyin. You've even watched his videos before. Olivia was nearly in tears. The lighting was so dim in those videos and he was twisting around like a pretzel. How was I supposed to recognize him? I stroked my chin and nodded sympathetically. Fair point, can't blame you for not recognizing pork under fluorescent lights either. Dominic glared beside me, displeased with how I described his meticulously maintained skin. Finally, Olivia's horrified gaze turned toward me. I flashed her a toothy grin. Don't worry though, my persona is fake, the money is real. Olivia nodded eagerly. I know that. But soon shrank back in fear. The more I think about it, the more terrified I become. These past few days you did it on purpose. You deliberately gave me the chance to get close to you, and even indulged that sleazy guy with me. And your whole family is fake. Her voice trembled slightly. What do you want? Don't be afraid, I said with a smile, leaning closer and patting her hand just as I had done many times before. I just want to borrow your hands for a while. 07 The next morning at 6 Olivia came to my house to make breakfast. This time it was my turn to hold the camera, capturing her preparing 8 dishes and a soup before dawn, then serving her mother-in-law, husband and daughter at the table. I looked at the camera again and again, utterly satisfied. It's a match, truly a match. Olivia's hand and mine were nearly identical. I noticed it during the first offline fan meetup. Afterward, she made great efforts to get close to me, her intention to steal someone else's man written all over her face. I pretended to accept her overtures, setting a trap for her to fall into. To my surprise, she was so eager that she stepped right into it without missing a beat, not even delaying my filming schedule by a single day. She struggled to carry the soup to the table, bending over from exhaustion, and just as she was about to wipe her sweat, I stopped her. Cut, you have to make it look effortless. Olivia grumbled indignantly. I've been working for 2 hours, of course I'm exhausted. What kind of housewife has superhuman stamina like this? It's all scripted, just play along, okay? I comforted her. This is what audiences eat up these days. Push through the exhaustion now, and we'll cash in later. Olivia took 2 deep breaths, rolled her eyes at me, but had no choice. She could only grit her teeth and keep working. Now she is jobless and broke, so I gave her an opportunity to appear in my faceless cooking videos, helping me rebrand my online persona. I'm terrible at cooking and can't be bothered to learn with all the planning, editing, and managing required. I desperately needed a stand-in. After a full day of filming, Olivia collapsed on the sofa. Why not just keep making those wealthy housewife videos like before? Why go through all this trouble to rebrand? Without looking up, I replied, the times have changed. How could our filming subjects remain the same? With the economic downturn and workplace pressures, many women are either forced or choosing to return to domestic life. These effortlessly capable housewives offer them a reference point. Or a placebo. Olivia retorted indignantly. Who said that there are plenty of career women too? Not everyone wants to go home and be a pampered wife. I gave her a speechless look. Olivia suddenly realized her words and flushed bright red. Her saying this really wasn't convincing at all. 08 After several consecutive days of filming, the performance metrics of the content were exceptionally good, coinciding with the rising popularity of the traditional wife theme in North America, coupled with a striking contrast of a luxury housewife turning frugal. The new video's metrics soared like a kite, catching the wind, climbing steadily higher. Many viewers joked in the comments, even the wealthy are downgrading their spending. Here's another reason for me to shop on Pinduoduo. I quickly added several shopping links below the video and began negotiating product placements to capitalize on the momentum. Olivia couldn't stand this contrast. You've become way too down to earth all of a sudden, completely shattering your former socialite image. Mom bounced over to Olivia's side. Oh, come on, just listen to her. She's definitely right. Dominic also chimed in. Steph has a sharp eye. She knows exactly what audiences want to see. Olivia froze for a moment before complaining resentfully. You're not even her real family. Why are you all taking her side like this? After several days of observation, Olivia had discovered that everyone in my household not only had prestigious identities, but were also loosely assembled components. She's our boss, she signs our paychecks. Mother-in-law, who had just finished shooting a commercial, emerged from the secondary bedroom, twirling the bracelet on her wrist. She also refers plenty of work to us. My mature women's fashion ad campaign was arranged through Stephen's connections. Her name was Louise, a retired middle school teacher whose children had already moved abroad. Speaking of past events, she was quite emotional. Over 3 years ago, most of my pension was swindled away by health product scammers. Too embarrassed to tell my children, I posted on Tushio with photos attached looking for housekeeping work or similar jobs. Stephen came across my post and said I had good presence, that I could play her mother-in-law. After I came, she had me film videos and also taught me to do print ads, giving me quite generous commissions. She looked at me. Stephen, I've saved up quite a bit of money now. I clapped expressionlessly. Well, R&T, just amazing. Just don't get scammed out of it this time. Daughter hopped over and poked my head. Can't you say something nice to Louise for once? Olivia looked at her curiously. What about you? How did you end up here? The daughter stuck out her tongue. I was a terrible student. My notes were all colorful and pretty, but nothing ever stuck in my brain. Come exam time, ID just blink out. Later I didn't get into university, and my family refused to pay for vocational college. They just sent me straight to work. She ran over and hung onto my neck. Sister Stephen saw my high school notes and selfies on Xiaohongshu and thought I looked young, so she asked me to come play the daughter role and design this study blogger path for me. She even tutored me for the adult self-study exams to get my bachelor's degree as soon as possible. I pushed her away. Julia, don't hang on me, it's too hot. Julia playfully flicked my cheek. Sister Stephen just gets shy easily. Olivia screamed in frustration. After all this, it turns out I'm the only one who got scammed. Nope. Dominic, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke up. He winked at Olivia with a grin. Me too. 09 Olivia's idealized image of Dominic had shattered multiple times, but She never expected it to break yet again. What used to be a freeloader dated multiple girls at university and even blackmailed your ex with her nude photos for money. Dominic anxiously tried to stop her. Shush, keep your voice down. It was hard enough for me to confess. Why are you shouting it out? Olivia was itching to slap him. Did you secretly record us when we were doing it too? I said coolly, not at all. In this house, how would he dare act recklessly? I allowed you two to sleep together because you fancied each other, not to keep a recording for blackmail. Dominic sat on the sofa, looking at me with a sigh. Damn, I'm doomed to be at her mercy in this life. In college, I was just about to make a move on her sister when she caught on. She found girls who had issues with me before and banded together to take action. They made such a fuss from the department all the way up to the university that they nearly took me to court. Dominic let out a long sigh. Compensation, public apology, deleting videos and photos. I did it all. Luckily, I hadn't spread the photos around or she would be definitely sent me to prison. Olivia asked curiously, then you two should be enemies. How are you acting as a couple now? I typed rapidly on my phone while replying. He begged me. Dominic scratched his head. I didn't study hard in college, plus I had disciplinary records. Couldn't he find a decent job? No connections, no special skills, unwilling to endure hardship. Couldn't he break into the entertainment industry? Either wanted to find a sugar mommy, but was scared of steel wool. Olivia shuddered in disgust and moved closer to my side. When I was truly desperate, I thought of the person who had tormented me the most since childhood and was also the most capable. Steven had been hustling with selling goods and making videos since college, savvy in both business and law, so I went to beg for her help. She needed someone to play the role of her husband at the time, so she let bygones be bygones. Steven designed a suggestive live streaming route for me. She knew the platform rules inside out and helped me toe the line while vetting video risks. In exchange, I appeared in her videos flaunting my figure to polish her wealthy socialite persona. Olivia nudged my arm. You still dare to use him? Those who achieve great things don't sweat the small stuff as long as he's competent at his job. I didn't even look up. Don't worry. I regularly check his HIV and HPV status. When working together, we have to mitigate risks. Dominic exclaimed, I'd only be interested if you introduce them, okay? I'm keeping myself pure these days. Julia and Louise simultaneously made gagging noises beside them. Olivia suddenly thought of something. Wasn't he the whole thing started because he tried to hit on your sister? Aren't you worried about your sister being affected now that you're keeping him around? Dominic broke down, saying I was sanctioned before I could even make a move. By the time her sister knew about me, my reputation was already in ruins. And her sister has been filming videos for her overseas. She hardly ever comes back. Julia clicked her tongue in admiration. Twins are incredible. Youngning can handle overseas purchasing while also shooting video footage for Steven. The two of them alternate appearances in the videos and have never been caught. Olivia's mind short-circuited for a moment. What twin sister? I lifted the final veil. All those overseas travel videos were filmed by my sister while she was doing purchasing agent work. She studied foreign languages, went abroad on a student visa, and is about to apply for a work visa soon. As for me, I gave her a sly smile. I've never been abroad in my life. Olivia's finger trembled as she pointed at me. Then that time you said you went to the Maldives, where did you actually go? I pushed open the hidden door in the wall and walked straight into another apartment next door. The two apartments are connected. This side is for filming. I pointed to the space Olivia had always assumed was my home, then gestured toward the hidden door on the other side. That side is for editing. While you were staying at my place those days, I was right next door editing videos. With that, I ignored Olivia standing petrified in place and stepped over the hidden door to gather fresh footage. Right after posting the new video and pushing open the door to return to the filming room, I overheard Julia gossiping with Olivia. You have no idea how many money-saving tricks sister Steph has up her sleeve. She told us before that not only could you be her hand double, but she'd even give us year-end bonuses. Olivia was stunned. You mean the gifts I gave you? Yes, Julia clapped her hands. She said we could just tell you directly what we wanted, and you'd definitely buy it for us. Olivia would stop at nothing to climb the social ladder back then, perfect for me to take advantage of. Julia's stationery, Auntie Lee's jewelry, she single-handedly covered it all. Dominic nodded beside her. As for my gift, it's you yourself. You thought you were stealing her husband back then, so smug about it, but in reality, she sold you out while you counted her money for her, ha 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 ha. Olivia looked like she desperately needed emergency heart medication. I walked into the living room, and all four of them froze. Three stifling laughter, while the fourth was fuming like a pufferfish. Woo Yong, Anil, it was the first time she called me by my full name, and I could practically hear her teeth grinding. Olivia's been instrumental in our recent data uptick. I looked at her, and casually tossed out a number. Your performance bonus this month is 50,000. The world fell silent for a moment. I watched as she swallowed the words. Worked my ass off, her complexion shifting from pale to flushed, then settling into a tender pink. Following you was absolutely the right decision. Next time you need to scam someone, you have to choose me again. I volunteered 11. Our videos soon face competition. A rich second-generation kid studying abroad in the US publicly dissed me in their video, saying I'd completely lost the dignity of a wealthy socialite. Oh my god, why would a wealthy lady need to sell stuff to make money? You ask me where I get money if I don't sell things. My dad gave me more than I could spend in a lifetime. Why the hell would I need to earn more? Someone saw the information about the school he attended and earnestly advised him, saying the school was purely a money pit. He'd never recoup the educational investment through future earnings. The arrogant response from the wealthy second-generation heir. You're so frugal and hardworking, come work for my family's company. His cocky attitude drew widespread attention. Some criticized him for being conceited, but more people exclaimed now that a real young master and lamented the unfairness of fate pinning their hopes instead on reincarnation in their next life. Olivia now has an extremely high sense of identification with our account registering several alternate accounts to curse at the other party only to return defeated. Damn it, we've run into a real young master this time. He curses without caring about consequences and isn't afraid of getting banned at all. I didn't even bat an eyelid. It's intentional. The greater the controversy, the greater the traffic. These are just old tricks we've seen before. Olivia bolted upright. What is he fake too? Quick, analyze this for me. I'm going to expose this fake young master. I couldn't help but laugh. His identity is probably real, but his words are fake. I pulled up the latest video from this young master featuring champagne luxury cars and a cocky caption. My dad knew exactly what kind of trash I was. He didn't send me abroad to study, just to live it up with more money than I could spend in a lifetime. I have no idea what worry even means. I asked Olivia, what do you think? Olivia glanced at the video, then back at me. Somehow this whole spiel feels eerily familiar. We exchanged glances and spoke in unison. Even someone like Qin Shi Huang, who stood at the pinnacle of human existence, still harbored the desire for eternal life. How could an ordinary person with just a bit of stinking money live in complete comfort and satisfaction with all desires fulfilled and not a single setback in life? 12. I've known since childhood that people are born unequal. But there are only two things that make me firmly believe fairness still exists in this world. Inferiority and death. No matter who you are, you inevitably exist in a state of inferiority where your desires can never be fully satisfied. And no matter who you are, you must face the presence of death. Olivia clearly learned her lesson, muttering as she analyzed. With the current economic downturn, running a business isn't as easy as he makes it sound. Even real estate companies are collapsing and the internet industry has started layoffs. Just who does his father think he is to guarantee smooth sailing forever? I was quite pleased with her progress and continued analyzing. Besides, think about it, as a hardworking entrepreneur, would his father want his heir to be someone capable like Meng Wanzhou or Zhong Fuli, who can handle real challenges? Or would he prefer this kind of young master, who spends money abroad to get a worthless diploma, then spouts nonsense online and drags the family business into controversy? Olivia fumed. I'd rather have given birth to a piece of char siu than him. Exactly, I clapped my hands. His life couldn't possibly be as perfect as he boasts. Human desires, no bounds, wealth, power, status, and then there's health, longevity, and so on. No matter how much he acquires, there will always be something else he craves. Like wishing for immortality, hoping to defy time, longing for his bloodline to endure, as if boarding Noah's Ark to sail into the next century, even to places beyond time's reach. The surroundings suddenly became very quiet, and my family members gathered around me, looking at me with a somewhat solemn expression. I paused involuntarily, but persisted in finishing. Desires are endless, yet they can never be fully satisfied, thus inferiority arises. So those who boast that life is a piece of cake are merely speaking insincerely, stirring up envy. Exploiting the subtle darkness of human nature to capture others' attention. Just like what I used to do. I forced a bitter smile. For the sake of money, I've suppressed my true self for far too long. I castrate my own desire for expression, catering to twisted values, packaging myself, brazenly boasting, and making a fortune. Dominic as Adam as Apple bobbed up and down before he finally spoke with difficulty. What you just said reminded me of how you used to be in college. Back in college, I used to pontificate passionately about justice, my blood boiling with righteous fervor. Because I have suffered injustice, I use knowledge as my weapon to fight. But now what am I doing? I lowered my head slowly, with a self-deprecating smile. Julia asked hoarsely. Stephanie, do you ever feel insecure? What is it that you desire? 13. Those words dragged me back into the nightmare. The rolling hills surged like rising tides. I ride the dilapidated minibus forever, unable to escape the rolling jungle. The mountain ravines yawn wide. If I run just a step too slow, they'll swallow me whole. My sister and I keep running, fleeing the encircling mountains, severing the blood ties that clung to us, changing our names to take root anew in concrete and steel. Civilization and order are the refuge of the weak. We swore we'd never leave the city again. I told Julia the name of a place, then put on a cheerful face. My insecurity comes from being born there, and my desire is to earn lots and lots of money, so I never have to go back. She froze. Louise exclaimed in surprise. The dialect there is completely different from Mandarin. How come you don't have any accent at all? Just takes practice. I shrugged with a casual smile, as if forcing my tongue to straighten out had been the easiest thing in the world. Olivia remained silent for a long time before speaking again. Steph, you're doing everything an independent woman would do, yet you keep filming wifey content. I was still grinning. It's all business, you know. To survive, I chose the most trending and controversial topics. It was precisely by understanding the subtle complexities of human nature that I carved out a path to survival. What about the future? Will you keep making this kind of content? I shrugged. What else can I do? People only see what they want to see and believe what they're willing to believe. Compared to hardworking wage earners, everyone still prefers to watch leisurely, effortless, wealthy housewives. After all, life is already exhausting enough. Don't try to lecture your audience. Olivia's face flushed crimson. But these things can be harmful. I fell for them before you used this to deceive me, and, to be honest, I used to resent you a bit, but then you gave me a job opportunity. You made me realize that people shouldn't abandon labor, and work shouldn't pin their hopes on others. If we keep producing this kind of content, what if more and more women quit their jobs and fall into the trap? Not every deceived person can meet someone like you and start a second career. Her words hit a nerve, and for once I felt a twinge of guilt. After a pause, I finally said, "It's not the video's fault either. That's just the trend these days. Society expects women to return to the home to boost the population. Men want women to leave the workplace to reduce competition, and some women themselves have no desire to strive in the professional world. They just want to marry and live a life of ease. These aren't caused by my videos. I'm just going with the flow." Olivia grew anxious. "You have a huge following and you're great at making videos. You can turn the tide." I let out a startled shriek. "Stop flattering me. I don't have that kind of ability." Dominic was subtly fanning the flames from the sidelines. "Olivia, why don't you try drafting a proposal to create a new persona for Steven? If it looks good, she might take a picture." Olivia turned around angrily and stormed back into her workspace. "Fine, I'll write. Who's afraid of who?" Side story, I often imagined myself as Steven. But in reality, I was Olivia, thoroughly fooled. I couldn't come up with a new video concept, so I'm still working as a hand double filming those Steven-esque trophy wife skits. Maybe I really don't have any talent for making videos after all, but my own experience made me want to do something. Every time I read the comments under my videos, guilt overwhelms me. I really want to go home and be a pampered wife. Work is so exhausting. Did you see that girls, a good job is no match for a good marriage? Wish grant me a handsome, wealthy husband just like that bloggeress. I was so anxious that blisters formed on my lips, but I couldn't change Steven's shooting route. Using a burner account to reason with fans only to be called jealous of the rich housewife. What the hell do I have to be jealous of? That woman in the video is me. I tilted my head back to gaze at the sky, pondering for a full 3 minutes. I heard that the threshold for writing short stories is slightly lower than for novels, so I started writing online in my spare time. After writing intermittently for over a month and making several revisions, I completed the 14-chapter story above. In the story, I projected myself into the character of Steven, the person I most aspire to be, writing about how I was deceived to join the studio and all the realizations I had during that period. I try to think from Steven's perspective, searching for new directions in photography. I showed the manuscript to the real-life Steven, who immediately complained after reading it. Leaving everything else aside, "Why did you give me the surname Wu, and then name that pretty boy Dominic?" Dominic was a famously favored male concubine in history, whose mistress was none other than the renowned Empress Wu Zetian. I chuckled and said, "You're so formidable, and he's always fawning over you, doesn't he?" It seemed quite fitting. Steven pursed his lips. I noticed she was changing the subject, so I cut straight to the chase and asked what concerned me most. "What do you think of my writing? Did I really grasp your ideas?" Steven stood up, paused for a long moment, then condescended to nod. "Not bad." I shouted after her, "If we get lots of likes, it means everyone agrees with my suggestion. In that case, let us pivot to filming career women, encouraging everyone to break free from the trap, okay?" She turned around and made a face at me. "This post might totally flop. Wait until someone is willing to give you a like before you talk." The end.